Hey, if you're a small business owner using the GST Composition Scheme, then you've definitely heard of Form CMP-08. And look, I know it can sound a little intimidating, but trust me, it's way simpler than you think. In just the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down and make it crystal clear. Let's jump right in.
So first things first, what even is this Form GST CMP-08? And more importantly, is it something you need to worry about? Well, if you're a trader, run a restaurant, or you're a manufacturer who chose the simpler GST composition scheme, then yeah, the answer is a big, simple yes.
And here's the best part. This isn't some crazy, complicated tax return with a million fields. Seriously, think of it more like a quick summary. All you're doing here is telling the government what your sales were for the quarter and then paying the tax you owe on it. That's it. It's designed to be fast and painless.
All right, let's get into the fundamentals. To really get this right and stay compliant, you just need to know 3 basic things: who has to file it, when you have to file it by, and how the payment actually works. Let's tackle each one.
So who's on the hook for this? It's actually super straightforward. If your business is registered under the GST Composition Scheme, filing this form is mandatory for you. It doesn't matter if you're a small trader, you run a restaurant, or you're a manufacturer. If you're in the scheme, this is your quarterly tax check-in.
Next up, deadlines. And the good news is these are really easy to remember because they follow a simple pattern. Your due date is always the 18th of the month, right after the quarter ends. So for the April to June quarter, you've got until July 18th. For July to September, it's October 18th. You get the picture. Go ahead and pop these dates in your calendar right now.
Okay, this next one. This is a biggie. This is a question that trips up so many business owners, especially if they've just switched over from the regular GST scheme. Can you use your input tax credit, your ITC, to pay the tax you owe on your CMP-08?
And the answer, you've got to remember this, is a hard no. This is one of the main trade-offs of the composition scheme. You get that simple, flat tax rate, but you give up the ability to claim input tax credit. That means every rupee of tax you owe on this form has to be paid in cash, straight from your electronic cash ledger on the portal.
Okay, let's be real. We're all human, right? Mistakes can happen. So what if you file your CMP-08, you hit submit, and then you realize, oh no, I put in the wrong sales number? Can you just go back and fix it?
And yeah, once again, the answer is a big no. Once you file it, that's it. It's locked in. You cannot revise it. This is why that preview button before you submit is your best friend. Seriously, take that extra minute, look over the draft, and make sure every single number is spot on.
All right, so we've got the main rules down. Now let's talk about some real-life situations you might actually run into. Like, what do you do if you had 0 sales? Or what happens if you don't have enough cash in your account to pay the tax?
So here's a question I get all the time, especially from new or seasonal businesses. What if you had a slow quarter, like absolutely no sales, 0 turnover, which means 0 tax to pay? Do you still have to do anything? Can you just skip it?
Yes, 100% yes. You still have to file. Even if your sales were 0, you are required to file what's called a Nil CMP-08. You're basically just officially telling the government you had no business activity. If you skip it, you'll run into problems. So remember, every quarter, everyone files. No exceptions.
And when you do have sales, you can see just how easy the math is. It's super simple. Let's say you're a trader and you had a 5 lakh turnover for the quarter. You just pay a flat 1%, that's 5,000 rupees. Or if you run a restaurant with an 8 lakh turnover, you pay your 5% rate, which comes to 40,000. You just apply your rate to your total sales. Simple as that.
Okay, so what happens if you've done the math, you know what you owe, but you look at your electronic cash ledger and, oops, not enough cash? Don't panic. The portal makes it really easy. It'll actually flash a message saying additional cash required and give you a big button that says Create Challan. Just click that, pay what you owe, and your ledger gets topped up so you can go ahead and file.
Okay, enough with the what-ifs. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How do you actually file this thing? Where do you even find it on the GST portal? Let's walk through the exact steps.
So once you log into the GST portal, here's exactly where you're going to click. First, go to Services, then Returns, and then into your Returns dashboard. From there, just pick the right financial year and the quarter you're filing for. You'll see the Form CMP-08 tile pop up, and all you have to do is click Prepare Online to get started.
Now listen up, because this is a huge heads up for anyone who just switched over to the composition scheme from the regular one. The GST portal is smart. It will not let you file your very first CMP-08 until you have filed your final GSTR-3B from your time as a regular taxpayer. You have to close out that old chapter before you can start this new one. So make sure that's done first.
So you've hit submit. Now what? How do you know it actually went through?
Well, the system gives you a bunch of green lights right away. You'll get an ARN, which is an application reference number, right there on your screen. Your return status will flip to filed. Plus, you'll get an SMS and an email confirming it. And, behind the scenes, all your official ledgers are updated instantly.
Phew, we've gone through a lot. So before we wrap up, let's do a super quick rundown of the must-knows. Think of this as your final checklist, the things you absolutely have to remember about Form CMP-08.
Okay, lightning round. What do you absolutely have to remember? 1. It's a simple quarterly statement. 2. It's mandatory for every single person in the scheme. 3. Payment is cash only, no ITC allowed. 4. You must file a nil return, even with 0 sales. 5. It cannot be revised, so always double-check. And finally, and this one is important, there's no late fee for the form, but if you're late paying the tax, you'll be charged interest.
At the end of the day, the whole point of the composition scheme is to make your life simpler, and Form CMP-08 is a huge part of that. Once you know these basic rules, it's a really straightforward process. So, with all this know-how, the only question left is, are you ready to nail your next tax quarter?